Hello and welcome back to EPIC43 with Intel. I'm one of your hosts, Bollard, and I'm joined again by Dane. Welcome back to the stream.
Thank you. Good to be back.
And we've come live a little bit early because we're going to wait for Frogs versus who?
Lorimbo.
Yeah, Frogs versus Lorimbo was going to be our next match, a ZVZ, which I'm going to be casting with Hart in the near future. But in the meantime, since we have a bit of downtime, we thought you'd bring you a replay of a series that was quite the banger from earlier on today. What are we looking at?
So we're watching a PvP between RosscO, who's a local Scottish lad, well, local to Epic Land, and PatttyMac, our visiting American Grandmaster Protoss player. And this was, we won't spoil anything, but it was a cracker of a series.
Yep, so we're going to be casting this one from replay, and I think we're ready to jump right in, aren't we?
Let's do it.
Should we get the games underway? So you're driving. If you
All
could
right.
load up game number 1.
Absolutely.
And we'll get loaded in. So this first match is going to be on Oceanborn. As I said, it's a PvP, so a mirror match. Pretty rare to get a PvP in this tournament, because there's, as we said, a lot of Zergs. But here we are in the game. Camera's going wild. Would you like to introduce the players?
All right. In the bottom left-hand corner, visiting from America, he is the Red Protoss player, PatttyMac.
I was going to say something that would potentially upset both you and him. I was going to say, from your hometown.
From my hometown.
Hometown of definitely not Canada. And then in the top left corner, as we said before, the Flying Scot, he is RosscO.
I always love to watch RosscO play at Epic Land. He's such a calculating player. He definitely knows how to punch above his weight, especially as a Protoss player. I think he knows how to use the kind of tricks up his sleeve. He's always got something going on with, pylon cancels and all these sort of like random shenanigans where he manages to get these adepts into your base and do damage when even against extremely good players that you wouldn't think he would be taking games off of, and RosscO is just really adept at getting that damage done.
I love the term adept when it describes a Protoss player. It just feels right. It just feels right. Do you think we're going to see any adepts in this series?
We certainly will.
Yep.
There's no way that in a PvP they're not just going to have a gentleman's agreement. It's a little bit frustrating, it's always annoying to have this little mini game of opening the door, shutting the door, building a pylon, canceling the pylon, and so on. Most of the time, it's not that big of a deal. But I just know that it can be a little bit tedious, but it shouldn't be the game decider most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. These are both high-level players. Their micro should be pretty on point. Do you think perhaps I haven't seen PatttyMac's results so far. I don't know how he's doing in his group. He is the top seed in his group, I think, if that's right.
Sounds right.
Yeah,
he should be. He's very high.
He's very good player. Very good player. And he's obviously going to be fighting a little bit with the jet lag.
Absolutely.
Coming over from the States. So
he told me he slept really well last night.
Oh, that's good.
So
I live
he was so tired, and he went to bed. He got as much sleep as I did.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we went out for dinner together, he said he had been awake for 30 hours, and that was at like 8 o'clock, and I think he stayed up till about 2 in the morning. So yeah, it was a late night.
Yeah, I can imagine. But he didn't manage to sleep in, so he's on a slightly different sleep schedule. I think his body finally let him rest, and he got it in there. So we see, interesting, there's a proxy pylon from RosscO out on the map, along with a couple of adepts coming, but he is just going into the sentries straight away after that, whereas for PatttyMac, we're seeing the proxy robo. I know he quite favors doing builds such as this, but unfortunately for him, the adepts happen to just walk right past it. I don't know if this is just disrespectful from him or not, but this seems like...
It's not well hidden, is
it? Yeah, it just seems like this is like, all right, I don't respect you. I'm going to just put this in the most obvious place possible.
What is the most common path your units could take across the map? I'm going to build a building there.
Yep, and so that is going to mean that RosscO has absolutely full vision of this, but ultimately it's still up to him to punish it, right? So it may be that PatttyMac just thinks, you know what, I don't care if you scout this, you're going to overreact to it. I know that I'm favored against you, and so I'm going to force you to get in your head a little bit. I'm not too sure what the plan is, but he does have to respect these adepts, right? They're going to go in here. They're going to get this probe here once they realize it, and Patty is definitely on top of this now. Nice little move. We missed this here from RosscO, but he's actually put a pylon blocking in here, so this has forced PatttyMac to drop a gateway in order to fully wall against these adepts, and he can kill the pylon, but it's going to mean that his stalkers are not out on the map for that crucial bit of time while you're trying to do this push. So I think this is really nice little, this is what I meant about these sort of cheeky little tricks that RosscO prepares, and all that you need is for your opponent to not really have played against it before, and it can do a surprising amount of damage.
Yeah, I mean, most of PatttyMac's experience was not be on the EU ladder, right? So he probably hasn't come across RosscO before. Maybe, is it the first time they potentially ever played?
I don't know that. He has told me that he tends to not play on EU. Like, he had to level up his EU ladder account because he hadn't played enough games on it. So he was starting at, he was like playing gold level players yesterday.
My goodness, I feel very sorry for those players.
Yeah, it wasn't a great time for them.
No, absolutely not. Not when you've got NAGMs coming over and smurfing. This is another pylon gone down. This is going to get really frustrating.
Yeah, so like the situation that PatttyMac's in is because he's had to build this extra gateway. I mean, he probably wanted to build the gateway anyway, but you might have wanted to proxy it. It's not the biggest deal, but I think it's definitely just awkward. Nice. And he's all in, right? Doing this push, right? So he's gone proxy robo. And his opponent knows it's coming, and RosscO has his own robo, and he's holding up a ramp. So there, if I don't know how your math works, but against someone who's playing defensively, has the same tech as you, and is holding a ramp, it doesn't matter how good your micro is, you're not getting through.
Defender's advantage is a hell of a thing, and this Sentry has like infinite energy at this point. It's going to force field for days.
Yeah,
I see one go down already.
Yeah, there's a nice start there. I mean, Patty is likely to get the gateway down here. This is by no means a one game for RosscO. It's definitely relatively even, but it's such a tense situation when you're here because the force fields are so deadly. They just cut your army off. And actually, Patty does manage to get up this ramp, but with nice little micro in the Warp Prism here, he's not going to get trapped too much, but he does bleed a couple units out. The problem is RosscO doesn't have all that much.
No, yeah, he's got an Immortal on the way, but it's not being chrono boosted. His gateway units are dwindling in this attack, but he's holding for now.
I think he did lose his Warp Prism, which is the biggest game changer, right? So it's basically like all of a sudden your Stalkers don't have Blink anymore. There are batteries finishing up for RosscO, but this is a completely devastating push here because he's got that extra Immortal. He's got the Warp Prism. One Immortal does come out for RosscO, but it gets rallied across, and I'm not sure about this. I think he actually ends up winning with the second Immortal coming out. So that is going to bring us to Game 2.
Yeah, absolutely. As we said, maybe a little bit of disrespect from Patty, or not necessarily disrespect, but a lack of preparedness for what RosscO was going to bring to the game. Maybe he thought, I can just end this quickly, I can just proxy robo, I can get it done, and then turns out RosscO was more than comfortable holding. Yeah, I mean, Patty's proxy robo is really good. I know he does that in his PvPs against the best players that he plays against. He's played against opponents who are extremely high level, and he still does the proxy robo, and it has a good chance of winning. So it's by no means disrespectful for him to do it against Patty, but dropping it right in the middle of the map. That's more what I meant. Is definitely a bold strategy, and it didn't pay off for him. So fair enough. He's maybe going to Game 2. He's going to have to change things up a little bit. Yeah, and the great thing about casting from replays is we don't have to wait for the players to be ready. So why don't we jump straight into Game 2, which is going to be on Alcyone. I never pronounced that one correctly. Have I got even close to pronouncing that right? I don't know, but I'm going to say yes because you said it with confidence. Alcyone, Ellie. Alcyone. Sounds like a pasta or something. Alcyone. I'm going to go Alcyone, like Halcyon? Yeah. I like that. All right, let's start with the players. In the bottom left corner, it is our Red Protoss down 1-0 in this series. Perhaps surprisingly to our Scotsman RosscO, it is PatttyMac. I pressed Control-Alt-Delete. That's gone very poorly. All right, where is... Okay, let's get Starcraft back. This is what happens when what are we trying to do? I was trying to set this series score, and I pressed Alt instead of Shift. Anyway, why didn't you introduce RosscO? All right, and in the top right-hand corner, he is currently up 1-0 in this series, showing that he is capable of taking games off of just about anyone. He is RosscO. RosscO P. Coltrane. Another Red Dragon. We've seen a lot of Red Dragons on stream today. I think every game I've cast has had a Red Dragon in it. The last game we had an Amber Dragon. Has had a red color choice. This one's green. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's like pick a theme, guys. You're Red Dragons. Don't be Green Dragons, right? Or make a new clan called the Green Dragons. I don't know. So PatttyMac being red is confusing. It is. It's like, I'm not that smart, so I keep track. Are these the actual color choices, or do we have team colors turned on? Is that why we got red and green? I can't remember what I forget the button to change it. Let's not worry. It's fine. No, I think, because it would be red and blue if it was team colors. Oh. I think, right? I don't know. If it was like enemy. But, so we see RosscO sending out probes straight away. Going to be tricky. Going to see what he's prepared to take game 2. He's sent one proxy already. Oh, no, he's going to put his own pylon out there, right? Yeah, he's up one game in this series. So the mentality here has to be right. I can do
I probably won't win a macro game. But if I get those adepts in again, anything can happen.
It's happening again.
Once again, PatttyMac with the big brain move going right in the middle. I'm wondering if RosscO's going to scout it. He has sent his probe in a roundabout path, so it's unlikely that he's going to spot it. I actually think this tower, yeah, this pylon is within range of this tower. So as soon as PatttyMac takes this tower, he's going to have vision of that pylon. So I'm going to ask Patty about this later, but I wonder if this is a mind game. It has to be a mind game, right? It's like it's the most obvious spot.
Yeah.
And he's done it again.
I mean, this time RosscO did go the long way around, like you said, so maybe the mind game's working to some extent. RosscO's choice to put a pylon out of his base, is that just kind of to obscure information from his opponent? It's basically like, well, I might be proxying some tech outside my base. You know there's a pylon missing from my base if you come and check.
Yeah, I do. I used to do that a lot.
He didn't really take advantage of it in the previous game, largely because he didn't have a chance. But
yeah.
Is it more of an opportunistic move?
I think especially with the adept opener, I think you keep the door open for an oracle flying in. So it may mean that you build a battery when you otherwise wouldn't. Like RosscO's getting a battery here because he just doesn't know, but he does end up canceling it actually as soon as he scouts. I'm not sure what he scouted.
He saw the robo in the middle, and then the adept's got somewhere across the map.
Right. So as soon as he spotted that, he just cancels the battery in his main. And then builds a robo of his own. So it's a similar game as in the first one. The difference here is that in the first game, he was being extremely annoying with the adepts on the other side of the map, and he was forcing Patty to spend mental resources in terms of like blocking this off, build a gateway,
and actual resources, right? You had to build extra pylons,
and that.
fill the wall.
And this is the frustrating thing. There's actually, I can't believe we missed this. This is embarrassing in the nth degree. But RosscO did actually get in with the adepts, and he's got 6 probe kills. So this is a fantastic situation for him. In this game, he's up 9 workers, and he knows the tech, and he's got his own robo. So it's just like game 1 but better.
It's game 1 but with upgrades, and he's got quite the worker lead, like you said. Everything's looking rosy for RosscO right now.
The only problem though is that he went out on the map. He got a little bit too brave, I think, in terms of trying to deny it. And the problem is, as soon as the Immortal comes out, the Stalkers are dead meat. And so now he's facing against an Immortal and 2 Stalkers, and he's got 3 Stalkers.
You know what he doesn't
His Immortal's
have this time
not
that
done.
he had last time? A Sentry with full energy.
Yeah, that's definitely would be nice. He made the Sentries straight away last time, and in this case, he does have the Immortal finishing. He does have the battery. He's not in big trouble, but I think it does have to stress you out a little bit when you're holding. Like, you know you're ahead. All you need to do is close the game out.
That was nice. Another Adept forcing a recall on those 2 Stalkers.
Yeah, it's going to make that push hit a little bit less hard, but Patty coming in with the Warp Prism here, anything can happen here, especially if he fights away from a battery.
There was no battery added back to the mineral line, right? So it's just the one of the ramp.
And it looks like what Patty's doing here is very different from game 1, right? Like what he's doing here is he's going, all right, I'm going to keep making Immortals. I know my army's split, so I don't want to fight yet. RosscO's committed to making more Adepts, so he's going to continue. Like, I don't even know if he needs to. He already has the worker lead. But I guess he wants to just keep that going. But like at some point, he needs to get a better army so he can bust out.
I mean, that's like a significant portion of his army supply right now as well, and they're all going to die, right?
Yeah, they did get a lot of damage done. Like we see, he's killed 14 workers at this point. Like Patty is basically completely all in. He's got like he's got 16 workers left. So all he has is a Warp Prism and a Dream. What we're missing here is what he's making, which is his own Warp Prism. But the problem is that RosscO's out on the map, and so this is if the only chance that Patty has in this game is a fast fight, right? If he fights now and he has a better micro out on the map away from a shield battery, it's scary.
What do you think about RosscO's decision here to just go? He's given up on his base at this point. He knows that Warp Prism's coming.
Yeah, I think this is a mistake. He's got so many worker kills. I know he wants to kill the Robo, like, and I get it, and he knows that there's units back home, and this is quite aggressive. But the problem is he's losing so many workers now. Like that worker lead has evaporated. He's still 5 workers ahead, but these 2 Immortals, there's just nothing contesting them, and this is what Patty needed to do, and he's doing exactly the right thing. He's just evening up the eco, and now Patty can just chill. He's actually ahead in workers now, so he doesn't need to do anything. Yeah, he's lost his robo, but it's no big deal. And RosscO's trying to push, but there's a battery here with an overcharge, and it's just I don't think it's going to be good enough.
No, 1 Immortal is not going to get the job done here. 2 Immortals are greater than 1, and the probe pull from PatttyMac is probably going to fend this off, and we see a GG from RosscO tying the series 1-1.
Yeah, that's a surprising turn of events there, and I hate to second guess some decisions there, but I think RosscO had it, and I think maybe something snapped in his mental state there. Where
do we call that a throw?
I'm not going to go so far as call it a throw, but what I'm going to say is I totally empathize with the mentality of like, I'm up one game. I don't want to play like I'm scared. I want to play like a Chad. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to go kill him. I'm ahead. I know I'm ahead, and I'm not going to play like I'm scared just because he's ahead of me in MMR. I'm not going to play like I'm scared, and that's a totally valid way of thinking. But from us seeing it and seeing how much damage, I don't think he must have known how much damage he did. And it's Starcraft 101. If you've done a bunch of eco damage, you chill. And so that, I would like to see him maybe clarify that mental state, focus on that decision making. You're capable of playing an excellent game, in fact, a winning game against these Grandmaster players. So focus on not making game-ending decisions that potentially throw it.
Yeah, we can get into game 3 now, obviously. But do you think he maybe thought the warp prism was empty, or like thought, it's only going to have like one immortal in, it's okay, I can deal with that, I can warp in at home and that'll be enough? Like, should he have maybe left his immortal singular at home to help defend?
I mean, there's a lot of ways you could deal with it, but I think like the broad stroke thing is important, which is you've done a ton of economic damage, you can just defend, and you'll have a bigger army in like 2 minutes, right? Yeah. Like you will win in 2 minutes. You can take an expansion, whatever.
Right then, so let's get into game 3 of this best of 3, the final match between RosscO and PatttyMac, and I've completely missed clicking on the button. No, I haven't. We're loading in, and this will be on Site Delta.
It's one of the maps in the map pool.
It is it?
Yeah, it is. And it's got spawn locations. And the one that's in the bottom right-hand corner has a Protoss player from Scotland named Oxor. Oh, sorry, I read that backwards. It's RosscO.
You've now forced me to try and read PatttyMac backwards, and I'm really upset about this. Starting over here in the top left-hand corner, it is our red Protoss. It is Cam Itzap. That's the best you're going to get.
That's great. That sounded like Klingon.
Oh, really?
That was great. That was really guttural.
I didn't know I was fluent in Klingon. But
yeah, actually, the word you said was very offensive. So if there's any Klingons out there, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. We do have a lot of international viewers for this land, so it's possible.
Do we have intergalactic viewers?
It's possible I've offended some aliens with that uttering, and I do apologize. Was he in a different build? Well, not a different build. A different. He's not.
Yeah, he's going one gate expand.
Yeah, he's going to expand this game, right? That's different.
Yeah, I mean, he might expand. He probably will. It's a ramp map. You can do a one gate expand. It's pretty safe. If all things go according to plan and you don't take damage, you can just be ahead, which is great. In PvP, a couple probe lead is all you need. Oh, that rhymes. A couple probe lead is all you need.
That's good advice. You should make a training course based on that.
I definitely am qualified to teach people how to play StarCraft.
I hear you know how to teach.
I am qualified to teach. That is literally true. I should not be teaching anyone how to play StarCraft. License to teach. I am qualified.
You're dangerous and you have a license to teach. Well then, so RosscO's sticking to what he knows and loves. Does get the pylon block down.
Yeah. This is you just basically, if you're RosscO, you just have to like not let him get an economic lead here. I like this. This is so cheeky. Did he see it? Wait. It's vision, right? What's the vision button?
V.
Oh, he does. He does see it. It's just super annoying when you're dealing with this. If I tried the one gate, I would die to this. I think letting the pylon finish is a bit of a thing, because now he's that 1-2 pylons finish. So yes, you have 2 gates, but this is quite a big commitment here early in to build 2 more pylons, one of which is going to die, and then now another cyber core. So he is making units though. He doesn't even have his warp gates started, right? Like, this is not ideal, especially because you want to warp in here.
Yeah, the pylon's bait in the main. I mean,
I think he must just be low on money or something. I don't know. Yeah, he can afford it. He's just forgot it. Maybe he's just prioritizing the units. I don't know, but I think he needs to get the warp gate.
Stalker? Oh, he supply blocks. Oh dear, he got supply blocks because the pylon died.
Yeah, so this is
not what you want to see.
little bit stressful. Obviously, this pylon is designed to bring the units here, because then if not, you can warp in and then you can do damage here. But I'm not sure that like Patty cares that much, right? Patty's just like made the second gate anyway. He's like, okay, we're just playing a normal PvP now. Okay, fine. I don't have the expand. Fine. But now you're behind because you're building all this random stuff.
You let all 3 of them finish as well, which is a big investment.
Yeah, and this is all like hypothetically, you could. Oh, looks like we've got a. Looks like you've got some excitement in the LAN hall. I don't know if you can hear that on stream, but there's a lot of hype over at the I don't know what it is.
At the gaming.
The gaming.
The gaming is
someone gamed real good.
Someone gamed real good, or something else may have happened.
I don't know who they are, but I give them all the blessings I can in their journey. I'm happy for them. All right. Man. So yeah. So like we were saying, I think this is not the best situation for RosscO. He is getting harassed here by the 2 stalkers. He's got 1.
He's pulling the boys.
He's pulling the boys. Are they boys? Are they robots?
I don't think they're gendered.
He's pulling the otherkin. The otherkin.
We can just call them probes.
Okay.
We can call a spade a spade.
Probes. He's pulling the probes, and this little push from Patty is nice. So now Patty is sitting there with a 30-18 worker lead against RosscO. And he's got relatively similar time bases. It's not, the fact that this base is faster for RosscO doesn't really matter. He's not making units out of it, really. And so this is just a nice, comfortable position. However, RosscO coming in with 2 adepts. Out of nowhere. But can they get in? No, they can't because there's a full wall.
Yeah, they tried to get in.
I believe in them, though. Look at them. Look at these lovely ladies just sharking around looking for probes. At some point, Patty's going to let this wall down, right? And then
things will hit the fan.
At some point, Patty will let his defenses down and let someone into his life. And unfortunately, it's going to be 2 adepts that are trying to murder him.
Well, we see RosscO investing in warp gate tech, which is nice. Sure, that will come in useful later in the game.
Yeah, it's helpful often.
Often in Protoss games, I like
to be able to make warp gate units. Yeah. We got +1 coming down for RosscO. We don't have +1 started for Patty, so there's an edge for sure. However, RosscO he's just down 11 workers. And remember before I said 2 workers is a big deal in
11's
PvP?
Like a lot more than
11
2.
is quite a few more than 2. And Patty is also pretty good with the micro and the macro.
Hey, look, they're here.
But this is important. Maybe he can even up that lead a little bit. These adepts from RosscO really have been telling a story in this series. He's just absolutely getting the damage done wherever he needs it. And just like that, it's gone down, right? It's only a 5 worker lead now. That's still a half of what it was before, but it's not nothing. But you're going to need lots more like that to see this game go in RosscO's direction.
Yeah, so RosscO's going up to 3 base, whereas PatttyMac's about to finish Blink. He's got quite a few Stalkers already, which is good news, because he's going to be able to use Blink with them very soon. Not going to time it with the +1 attack, unfortunately. Actually, he's gone back home anyway. It doesn't look like he wants to push out. Maybe he's just going to secure a 3rd himself.
Yeah, I don't think if you're Patty in this situation, you're stressed. Like, Patty is good enough to know that he's got the worker lead, and he's just like, I'm chilling. I'm playing against someone who's lower MMR than me. We're in a stable mid-game. And was he chilling?
He was not chilling last game.
No.
But PatttyMac in this game, he'd be chilling.
He's definitely chilling. Yeah, you can be chilling and then someone can come and kill you, right? That's not your fault.
No.
That's society's fault, if anything. So I'm not gonna recant.
Let people chill.
Let them chill.
Be chill, man.
Patty, he wants to just build 3 bases. This is like what PvP is like, right? It's like playing PvP is like you've got a sand castle you want to build, and you'll spend like all day at the beach building it, and then like someone will come along with like a water balloon full of urine, and they'll just throw it straight in your face, and then you'll
kick the
sandcastle, and you're like, great, this is fun. I'm glad I went to the beach today.
Don't go to the beach. The ocean is a mess.
It's true.
There's a lot of beach on this map, actually.
Yeah, this would be a good place to go on holiday. I think you should have like in Britain you have these like little huts.
Yeah, little beach huts.
I think you need to add beach huts to all StarCraft maps with beaches on them.
You know what they need? They need beach balls. Yeah, I remember Ohana. Ohana means family.
Does it? In what language?
I don't know the name of the language. Do you know?
No, of course not. That's why I was asking you. You said Hana means family. You're the linguist on this cast, talking in Klingon.
My Klingon Duolingo course did not cover Ahana, I'm afraid.
Oh, right. It's
I don't
not
think
Klingon.
that's a Klingon word.
I don't think it's Klingon.
No.
Oh, okay, right. So we've got 3 Immortals.
Things are dying.
And we're playing against Blink. And Immortals do pretty good against Blink.
Yeah, they seem to be doing all right.
They're fine.
They're chilling.
Oh, this Warp Prism, though. Oh, you don't want to lose it.
Although,
But
force fields were good.
Is that worth it? No, it isn't.
That was very bad.
But I think at the same time, right, RosscO now has a lead in workers.
What is happening?
I don't know what has happened. There's been the old switcheroo.
I mean, he did get his third a lot quicker, right?
He did.
More bases make more probes quicker.
They do. You have more production of probes.
50% quicker than 2 bases.
And this is, I'm not sure what happened. It's like I blinked. I talked about the sandcastle thing, and all of a sudden now, here's the sandcastle.
Is there an actual sandcastle?
He's got a sandcastle.
Oh, he's built the sandcastle.
Well, his base, right?
Well, what if PatttyMac comes and kicks it down?
Yeah, like these stalkers are not supposed to be in here. This is like, there's a sign on the door that's like no PatttyMac stalkers, and they walked right past it. Like they're in here, and RosscO doesn't want them there. He doesn't actually have charge done, so he's done this warp in, this sort of facile warp in.
He just needed something to buy time for all the gateways to finish so he could actually warp in useful units.
But the thing is, I don't think RosscO's paying attention because he's got to fight at the front now. So now he's like dealing with this on 2 fronts, and this is really nice from PatttyMac. He's just like, all right, I have multitasking skills. I bet you can't fight me in 2 places. And as a result, he ends up losing a bunch more. So we've seen the worker lead go back and forth. What a great little back and forth game. I like that RosscO has the +2. He has some work. Well, he's got roughly even workers now. Patty's army is definitely bigger, though.
Yep. Yeah, it's got the army lead. Doesn't have the upgrades lead other than Blink. So it's kind of like a +1 for Blink kind of situation there. And actually +2 just finished as well for Patty. So yeah, he's just got a straight army and an upgrade advantage at the moment.
Yeah, I think though in games where there's like a big MMR difference like this one though, like you don't want this situation. This is like, oh, you've got a like high Grandmaster Protoss with a bunch of Blink Stalkers, and I'm just stable. Like I'm in an even mid game against him. It's gonna be tough.
Nice snipe on the Warp Prism and a Blink out.
Yeah, he just keeps going for it, and I think he knows that like as long as he just keeps trading Stalkers for the Warp Prism, you can never really push. You just, oh great, I have to make another Warp Prism. It's another like 30 seconds of your life you'll never get back every single time. So you lose 4 Stalkers so like on paper it doesn't make sense, but think how much time you gain with that. It's actually insane.
RosscO's trying to make something happen, which, as you said, without a Warp Prism is going to be difficult because he's not going to be able to reinforce on the other side of the map.
Yeah, but he is going to go on a relatively difficult position to make it happen, but Patty is going to actually meet him out on the map. He's going to try and snipe the Warp Prism again. Does get it down, not before the Warp In finishes, but this is actually looking really nice for Patty. He's overwhelming this army, and this is looking extremely good for RosscO.
Yeah, absolutely. He kind of turned the tides there. The Warp Prism arrived just as the engagement started, so you saw all the Immortals sweeping in from Patty, which seemed like it'd be really bad because it evened up the Immortal count, and he still had the Blink Stalkers. But thankfully, that last-minute warp-in round from the Warp Prism really provided the Zealot buffer to kind of help RosscO take that fight.
The issue I can see here, so like technically RosscO has a bigger army, but the issue is that we have a 4th coming down for Patty. And I don't think this army is big enough
to end the game.
So exactly. So it's bigger, but it's not like a whole engine class difference.
Yep. And the worker lead is ballooning back in Patty's favor as well. He's preparing for the next phase of the game, whereas RosscO is building DTs and perhaps trying to end it all now.
Yeah, that one fight looked really good for RosscO. Unfortunately, like you said, with the shield battery. And good defensive positioning, it's really hard to just end the game. RosscO can't know this because he doesn't have the map vision, but obviously he would rather have his army be on the other side of the map, maybe with some multi-prong action. But instead, like Patty's just is fighting him out on the map. Like he's just like, all right, well, come fight me then. And I like this from RosscO. He split his army into 2 chunks, but now he's fighting with 1/2. And so he wanted this to all happen at once, but instead, Patty gets the fight on just half of the army. The rest are coming from behind, but now they're caught up, fighting random zealots in the middle of nowhere. He doesn't get the surround he wanted. It does look relatively stable just because RosscO has the DTs, and he doesn't have detection. Patty doesn't have detection, but how long is this going to last for? RosscO does break through onto the other side, and he is now in the main base. So I say all that, but now Patty is looking like he's in very bad shape. He's got nearly half the army supply of RosscO. RosscO on the top of the ramp here, and there is going to be a cleanup from Patty, but it's only just.
But at what cost? I mean, there was no shield batteries there to help with that fight, actually. We talked about how helpful they can be and give you the defender's advantage, but when there's a bunch of invisible guys pushing up your ramp and you don't have shield batteries there to help, you're going to get pushed in.
And the worry here is, though, that like RosscO's probably thinking, like, great, I killed the third, I've traded out my army, but because he didn't have the Warp Prism to reinforce this, now the cleanup from Patty is beautiful. And so all that we have now is we still have an army lead, but it's not enough to actually end the game. And all the while we've got 3 bases still from Patty, so the game is not over.
Does RosscO even know about that base? Can you do his vision really quickly?
I don't think he does. He never saw
no
it.
idea.
And he ends up losing. Yeah, he overextended and he ended up losing all his units. And now that army lead that RosscO just had is now evaporated. And again, I think it comes back down to this Warp Prism thing, right? He was like, I want to end the game. I want to end the game. I want to end the game. You didn't have the Warp Prism. It's just the thing is, if you lose the Warp Prism, you got to go home.
Yep. And we do see RosscO's latest Warp Prism turning around and going home because it's got nobody to transport anywhere.
Oh, it's such a sad little Warp Prism. He's like, whoa.
Yeah,
This game's stupid.
This game's so.
I want to go home play video
Where's
games.
my sandcastle gone?
Where's my sandcastle? And yeah, so Patty just takes the base. He's got even workers. He's got better upgrades.
If you were RosscO right now, would you try to expand? He's actually getting his main destroyed, by the way, by a drop.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's hard. RosscO does have the DTs to defend, which is nice. And he's getting his +3. Oh, no, he's got his +3. He's getting +1 weapon armor. What would I do if I was RosscO? Something worse than whatever RosscO's going to do. But in my mind, like, my brain right now goes, Disruptor.
Yeah?
Me want Disruptor. It's like a caveman voice.
I think every Protoss feels that urge at some point.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You're just thinking to myself, like,
imagine if
three Disruptor balls just hit. Imagine if the balls just smacked right in the middle of this army.
Yeah. Right?
Then all of a sudden, who's Grandmaster now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You can't be Grandmaster if all your zealots explode.
That's it. They take it away from you.
True story.
You get an instant demotion.
Instant emotion.
Yeah.
Cool. So does RosscO know about this 4th yet? I think he scouted it at last. Am I losing my mind?
Probably. If he scouted it,
no,
he doesn't. He still doesn't know.
Back. Okay, I give up.
Yeah. You know the song? Oh, it's probably. I know that you don't know the song, but I'll say it.
Wow,
You ever see the?
You calling me uncultured?
You ever see? No. Yeah. Did you ever see the film Euro Trip?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. I knew. See, because it's like a more of an American movie.
Yeah.
But there's like there's a song in it. It's like Scotty doesn't know. This one's like RosscO doesn't know.
Yeah.
RosscO doesn't know. Whoa.
You know what RosscO does know? He knows that these
RosscO.
Archons are wrecking his shit right now, and I think this could be a fatal engagement. It's 50 army supply to 16. If PatttyMac just takes everybody, goes across the other side of the map, he's on 4 bases. RosscO's finally tried to get a 4th up himself, but he's behind 7 workers on top of 40 army supply. This push looks like it could be fatal.
Yeah, he wants to get that base up, but he's having some difficulty getting it up. So I think he's going to have to just defend. He's just going to have to hold his base.
Yeah, he should have got some big balls to help out with getting it up.
I think the Disruptors would be a great call here. Wait, see? Yeah. Right? Imagine like you just have like not like 3 balls. That's too many.
No, 2 balls.
But 2 balls right in the middle of this army. It's over. And it's such a little clump as well. Like I think.
How many balls does it take to kill an Archon?
Too many.
Too many?
Yeah, they
are enough to be worthwhile.
They're pretty
tanky boys.
But if you have 5 and you kill 5 Archons, that's worth it. That's basically 1 per Archon.
Yeah, so he's warping High Templar in his opponent's base now, and I think that's usually the sign that you lost.
That's where you go. When you're just trying to snipe observers,
GG's well
to get
played.
him, yeah, it's over.
It's called by RosscO. Well, what a series. I think RosscO kind of somewhat punching above his weight, perhaps in some aspects here. Really taking PatttyMac to the limits there. I think, to be fair, it was a winnable series. There was definitely occasions. Game 2 could have been closed out in a 2-0, which would have been very surprising. Definitely an upset if that had come through. But yeah, what did you think?
RosscO, I felt like often he got the better of the opener. And maybe partially it's like not representative because, Patty was just doing a robo in the middle of the map.
Yep.
And maybe you're always going to get the better of it if you're a Grandmaster player against that. But I think he generally got the better of the opener. He did lots of damage with the depths. I think I think the story that game told was reading the game state in terms of what needed to happen. And so it was really a decision-making thing, right? And it's easy for me to say because we're watching it from hindsight. If I was in those games, I would have made even worse decisions. But I think it was like a really good learning experience to be like, right, so you've killed a bunch of probes, go home, you've done a bunch of damage, you don't have the warp prism, these sorts of things. It's time to put the brakes on, recuperate, and try again.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting learning points throughout that series for sure. Well, thank you very much for going through that with me. It was really fun to be able to bring that to the viewers, a little bit of replay casting that we've not really done before. We're going to throw to a quick break, and then we'll be back with our next series, which is going to be Frugs versus Lorimbo. Am I right? Did I get that right?
You did. It's going to be a cracking ZVZs, and anything could happen. I was talking to Frugs before, and he was talking me through what he was going to do. He told me, and you can quote me on this, I'm saving my good builds for Lorimbo.
Oh, so, now if that doesn't keep you around for the short break, and it will be really short, the players are probably almost ready to play anyway. I'm going to be joined by Hart. Thank you, Dane, for casting this on with me. And thank you again to Intel for sponsoring the event. And we'll throw to a quick break and be right back.